Hey there, it's Tina Forsyth here. So here's the thing. If you want to write a book, be ready for some ups and downs and all arounds. You know, this is the thing. It's not, I really do liken it to giving birth. And whether you've ever given birth or not, you know, a couple of things do remain true. It is definitely about a 9-month process. It can be uncomfortable at times and downright painful at the end, right? But then ultimately it can be oh so worth it when you get to hold that book in your hot little hands, right? It can definitely be oh so worth it. And I just wanted to share with you guys kind of some of my tips, tricks, lessons, if you will, on the journey of writing a book. This is actually the 3rd book I've written, so I've done this a couple of times, or a few times now, 3 times officially. But here's the thing, you know, I really do believe a book can be a wonderful way to kind of put your foot in the cement, right? To make an official footprint out there for what it is that you believe in, for what it is you take a stand in, for what it is that you have to offer to the world. And yet you'll want to be really purposeful on this journey too, because it's not the easiest thing in the world. You know, first and foremost, if you're considering writing a book, I want you to make sure that you get support for the actual writing process. Now, a lot of times people ask me, you know, Tina, how did you get this book written so quickly? I mean, I essentially went from like outline to completed book in the span of about 2 months, right? And granted, that may not happen for everybody. You know, I tend to be pretty quick with things like this. I tend to, I don't know, maybe I'm slightly crazy this way, right? But I want to get things done really quick. You know, I want to get things done quickly. And with this book in particular, I knew that I wanted it to come out this fall. I knew that I wanted it to be available definitely before the end of the year here, before the end of 2012. And so I kind of had to light the fire under my own butt to get that going. And how you write really is going to depend on how you write, if that makes sense. I mean, for me, I'm a good writer. It comes pretty natural to me. It's a great way for me to kind of process information. So I was able to just create an outline and then start to write from there. You know, one of the things I find most helpful is to really set aside some dedicated time for you to do the writing. And usually it needs to be kind of outside of your normal schedule. You know, if you have a normal kind of Monday to Friday working schedule, or Monday to Thursday, or whatever that may be, it's not like you're going to necessarily be able to sit down for an hour, you know, each afternoon or whatever, and chug out some of the copy for the book. I mean, maybe some of you can, right? But I find for me, when it comes to the actual writing process, I need to have dedicated time that's not part of my normal routine. As ironic as this may be, given that the book is about not working on the weekends, I did end up writing some of this book on the weekends. As I say in the book too, you know, the only time I actually will work on the weekends is if I'm traveling to a conference or workshop or whatever, or if I'm writing a book, which is quite ironic. Other than that, I really don't work on the weekends. But, you know, I had to do it on the weekends because I couldn't do it during my regular work week. My brain is in another mode, right? And to really get into writing mode, I had to get out of my regular routine. You know, you may need to get out of your regular office. You may need to find somewhere else to write. Even if it's a different room in your house, maybe you go to a Starbucks and plug in the old earphones or something like that, right? You know, you'll just want to be very purposeful on setting that aside. And my best advice on how to get a book done, how to get it actually written, because it's only the first part. This is only the first trimester. Writing your book is only the first trimester of work, right? You may think that's a big part of it. It's not. But my best advice to get it done is to get a deadline in place for yourself. You know, a lot of times, and this in particular, obviously I'm talking about self-publishing here, I just want to be clear with that. If you go a traditional publishing route, you will get a deadline from your publisher. But if you go in the self-publishing route, you need to create the deadline. And what I did for that is I contacted Lynn Klippel. So Lynn is businessbuildingbooks.com, and she's a publisher who did, help me publish this book. It's self-published, but Lynn is the publisher that I hired to do this. And I had a conversation with Lynn, and my first words were basically, all right, I want this book to come out in the fall. When do I need to get it done? You know, and she said to me, August 1st was what she told me. And of course, this was like mid-June when she told me that, right? So I knew I had to get my butt in gear in order to get the draft written by August 1st. And you guys will notice too, if you've been on my list for any length of time, I started talking about the book around about that time. I started putting it out there for not necessarily, you know, mainly for like a public accountability thing. It's like, if I'm going to start talking about this thing, if I'm going to start putting it out there, you know, you guys are going to start to expect it from me. You're going to start to be like, all right, Tina, you've been talking about this thing. Where is it? Bring it on. You know, so set a firm deadline with a publisher. That's a big part of why I hired Lynn, not only to help do the publishing work and everything too, but so I would have an accountable deadline. I paid her to do a publishing package for me. She gave me a deadline. I'm not going to let that money go to waste, right? I very purposely put that deadline in place for myself, along with the public accountability. You know, second, I want you to know too that you may think you've written the book, phew, you're done. You ain't done. I'm sorry to say, there's another 2 trimesters to go, right? And the other 2 trimesters for birthing a book are this. You need to go through the editing, you know, design, etc. process, you know, the publishing process, essentially, is what you need to go through. And then there's also going to be the marketing, the book launch and everything too. You know, so I have to tell you, the publishing piece for me is a lot of fun. I love coming up with a book cover. I enjoy when the editor goes through the book and I need to go through their edits and all that other kind of stuff. I actually enjoy that process. I enjoy it quite a bit. So, you know, for the most part, I think that is the easier. The second trimester is the easiest, as they say. For me, it's definitely the easier one, but you want to be very purposeful in that sense too, right? You know, it's going to take some time to go through that, and you want to make sure that you've hired the right editor, the right book designer, if you're doing this independently and you're not working with somebody like Lynn, you know that you've hired a good book cover designer, somebody who designs book covers and has done it before and does it well, right? It has a proven track record, not just somebody who's going to wing it and see how it goes. Somebody who can do the interior layout and everything properly for you as well, not just somebody who's going to throw it in a Word doc or something. You know, you need to get your ISBN numbers, you need to register it here and do this and do that and submit it to Amazon or wherever. All these kind of things that you need to do in the publishing process. Highly, highly, highly recommend that you get support with that. With my previous books, we didn't, and I did it on my own and it was fine. You know, but this time around, you better believe I hired some support because after writing the book, I was too tired. I didn't want to do anything else anyways. But then you also need to pay attention to how you're going to launch the book, right? And be giving consideration to that even throughout the journey too, because, you know, here's the thing, you've written the book. You're going to go through editing and layout, design and everything. Honestly, it can be downright tiring. And I don't want you to get to the end of that point and be like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't even know what I want to do to launch this thing now, and just kind of let it fizzle out, right? You've put a lot of heart, energy, soul, and effort into writing this book. You need to make sure you can get it out there in the best way possible. And I'll tell you guys, for me, I'm not a fan of the whole Amazon bestseller in a day, 800 bonuses if you buy on that day model. It just annoys me. You know, it just annoys me, right? So I didn't want to do it that way. We very purposely have some things planned for the launch, but I'm looking at more of like a long tail kind of book launch, right? And so instead of just doing one big thing on one day or woohoo, done, you know, my intention is to have the book be out there and to have it kind of popping up here and there and all over the place for a period of time, right? Through various different channels and resources and so on. We are doing a specific book launch, which is our fundraising launch that we're doing. And if you don't know about that yet, just go to theentrepreneurstrap.com. You can find out the details there, so long as you're seeing this video here in November. But we're doing a fundraising launch here this month. And if you're on the list, of course, you would have received this information already too. You know, we're continuing to do more things. We're going to be doing a blog tour, not a bog tour. We're going to be doing all kinds of calls and JVs, and, you know, we're doing some media, PR, etc. We have all kinds of things going on, right? And again, I hired someone to help me with this. Donna Cravata of Social Sage PR. She's my godsend when it comes to the book marketing side, right? You will note, if you want to take anything away from this video, A, it's going to take some time and effort and energy to birth this book, and B, don't do it alone. Hire someone to help. Hire someone to help with your publishing. Hire someone to help with your book marketing. You know, Misty Taggart, a really great lady who did our book video trailer as well too, which was a lot of fun. Hadn't done that before. You know, there's some really great people out there to support you in this journey. And so, you know, really in a nutshell, I would say my best piece of advice overall for you is just know why you want to write the book. Know what bigger picture purpose it serves for you, right? You have to have a really strong why behind this, because it is not easy, because it's going to take time and effort. It's going to be at least a 6-month process for most of you, A to Z, and could be much longer than that. Could be up to a year or more too, depending on your journey. But, you know, it's going to take a lot of your own time, energy, and effort. It's going to take a sizable investment, quite often of money as well, to work through this process. And you need to be doing it for a reason. If you don't have a clear why, if you don't have a really solid reason for why you want to write this book, then it's going to be really easy to throw in the towel at any given stage along the way, right? But I can't wait. If you have a book brewing in you and you know who you are, I know what that feels like. I can't wait to hear about it. you know, I can't wait to hear how it goes. And most importantly, I can't wait to hear when your book comes out. If you have any other questions or comments, just go ahead and post them here with this video. I'm happy to share any of my learnings and such on this book writing journey. And cheers. I'll give you, if you don't mind, a virtual cheers with me too. My book, woohoo! Cheers! If I had a glass of wine, I would actually do an official cheers, but I don't. We'll just do a virtual cheers. So here's to your upcoming book, as well as a celebration of my own. And until next time, it's Tina Forsyth here. Take care. Bye now.